Do you want to feel epically powerful, so vibrantly alive, and so sexually awakened that you get to claim your full sex goddess? Now, usually when someone says something like that, my eyes kind of roll back and I'm like, oh, this person's trying to sell me yoga pants on Instagram again. And I know that those yoga pants are not the route to the power, aliveness, and sexuality that I crave. So let's be honest, I'm trying to sell you something too. I totally want you to join the membership. But what I want to show you today is that there are tools. There is a methodology and there is a support system that can help you get the results that you desire, to feel fully empowered and confident through your body so that you are able to know what you are a yes to, a maybe to, a no to, that you are clear on your desires and that you have enough worthiness, that you are able to pursue your visions, your dreams, and your desires unapologetically with real action. When you feel that level of power, there is a confidence that radiates through your body. There is a worthiness and a sense that you are here to play. You're not here to survive. You're not here for anybody else. You are here to make the most magnificent use of this sacred time on planet Earth. Now, if you're like me, or you're like so many other women on this planet, you are absolutely carrying a degree of sexual repression and shutdown, because it has been way more common for us as women to hear that we are unsafe in our sexuality, that we are too much or not enough, that we either have to repress our sexuality to be good girls or go over the top to be like porn stars. And when you claim your sexual magnificence, you get to restore being at home inside of your body, feeling a level of honor and respect for your beauty, for your essence as a woman. And you get to have the kind of mind-blowing sexual experiences that are not just for certain types of women. No, they are for you. Every single woman can have multiple orgasms, incredible states of ecstasy, and profound levels of sexual surrender. There's a path to get there, and I want to show you how. And to embody full aliveness, so it is so normal to carry a kind of heaviness, a subtle repression, a sadness inside of our bodies. I like to say, as a woman, how can I not feel pissed off and sad given what's going on in the world and what has been going on for thousands and thousands of years? But full aliveness is about showing up for yourself in such a deep way and understanding how to systematically embody, integrate, and heal your wounding patterns, parts of you that you've repressed or shut down, and to come into empowered relationship with your emotions. When you learn the art of being able to show up for yourself with compassionate, loving presence, to integrate all aspects of yourself and be able to come into empowered relationship with your emotions, you return to a state of magic. All 5 of your senses come alive. The world tastes beautiful, looks beautiful, feels beautiful, and you have a sense when you're fully alive, like the world is your playground. There's a natural sense of gratitude that flows through you, and you get to experience your relationships through a lens of pleasure, play, saying yes, affirmation. You get to experience a rich and beautiful and dynamic sex life. And when you're fully alive, the world feels open with infinite possibilities, and you get to dance and choose how you want to spend your magnificent time in this human body. So if you want to know how to do all of that, that's what this video is for. I am not one to make empty promises. I'm going to walk you step by step in this video how to actually reclaim your power, your sexuality, and your aliveness, the tools and practices that will get you there, and the understanding of your own nervous system and body so you can understand why it can be so challenging to access these pieces and what's required for you to be able to completely unleash them. What do I mean about restoring the full capacity of your power, your sexuality, and your aliveness? Well, when it comes to power, I was so fractured inside, and you've probably had this experience yourself of rejecting certain parts of yourself, judging certain parts of yourself, being afraid of certain parts of yourself. So this is very normal conditioning in our society to feel this energy depletion that is the result of being chronically disempowered. When we were growing up, we didn't get this imprint of a fully powerful woman. In fact, most of us got a set of rules that told us we needed to fracture, judge ourselves, control ourselves, and attempt to be perfect inside in order to survive in society. So as a lasting legacy, there's often this painful fracturing within us, and being at war with ourselves and spending so much time and energy trying to control ourselves, trying to limit ourselves, trying to use our willpower to make ourselves do what we think we should be doing is inherently draining and exhausting. So when you finally realize that and get a system of tools to reclaim those parts of yourself, to accept those parts of yourself, and more than anything else, to integrate those parts of yourself, you stop going to war with yourself and start feeling that you are sitting at the center of your being, the center of your body, able to love and embrace the different parts of yourself, the different experiences, the different thought patterns. When you stop leaking energy like that, you start being able to choose what you really want in life. Your desires become clear to you, and your dreams become something that you can articulate clear action steps to move in the direction of them, and to do so without self-sabotaging or regularly holding yourself back. So being in your full power as a woman, it's a moment-to-moment experience of being able to stand proud and confident in your own skin. It's an experience of being able to walk into a room and know what you want every single moment and be able to achieve it, or to love yourself even if you don't. So what does it mean to be sexually awakened? What does it mean to be a sex goddess in this lifetime? Well, again, there's this kind of chronic conditioning inside so many of us as women, and I had it so deep, which is on one hand, be a good girl, repress your sexuality, shut that shit down, right? You're gonna be punished, you'll be slut shamed, no one will want you if you express your full sexuality. And on the other hand, you better be a perfect slutty bombshell like the porn stars and be able to show off, but not too much, right? So that split creates chronic shutdown inside of the female body. So much tension physiologically, emotionally, and energetically that makes it actually even harder to orgasm. So what I mean by coming sexually alive is not learning to be like a porn star, not learning to be like they tell you to be in the women's magazines, but learning to get outside of that conditioning that limits your relationship to your own sexuality, to do healing if healing is needed on layers of trauma, fear, guilt, and shame, and be able to get back to your authentic sexual expression. You've got it, I've got it, every woman has it. And then to systematically restore the embracing, the celebration, and feeling safe while being in states of deep ecstasy, deep surrender, multi-orgasmic bliss. Those are not special things for specially gifted women or exceptionally sexual women. Those are birthrights. That is something you were born with as a capacity inside of your body. And I care so deeply about you being able to restore this full sexual functioning. It doesn't matter what you've been through in your life. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your current relationship to your sexuality is. There is an extraordinary sexuality within you. And I feel like it has been far too long since we as women were a stand for each other to be sexually extraordinary. And finally, what does it mean to return to your full aliveness? Well, again, as a woman, there's all these codes about how we should and shouldn't act, how we should feel or not feel, how we should perfectly show up in every single moment with regulated emotions and the right behavior and the right thing to say. And all of those rules all of those codes, all of this fear, what it does is it actually systematically shuts down your nervous system. It puts you into a state of survival. That means that you also systematically shut down your emotional richness and your sensations. So life becomes more dull. You actually go into a part of your nervous system that goes into automatic replay. That means you're living life on habit mode, and habit mode is inherently empty. In science, this is actually called being in your dominant mode network. And when people are in that kind of nervous system network, life just doesn't feel like it has the meaning, the vibrancy, the oomph to it anymore. So when you want to restore that, there's actually an approach that allows you to return to your experience of full feeling. It allows you to honor your emotional reality instead of either trying to repress it or then going into drama spirals. It's also about understanding your nervous system so that you can support yourself to thrive. Too many of our systems have either not taught us at all, or they've been optimizing for your nervous system to be in baseline survival. I want to teach you the tools that allow you to feel full aliveness, that bring richness to taste and sight and sound and touch, that restore the emotional vibrancy of life. So your sexual aliveness, your experience of pleasure comes from your limbic system. Your limbic system controls the vibrancy and openness of your emotional reality. So when you have a vibrant and open relationship to emotional flow, you become open to the flow of life. You also become open to your greatest pleasure in life and ultimately your greatest sexual ecstasy. So what else happens when you get to total empowerment in your life? Well, in step 1, you start to recover a strong sense of self. And you start to realize how to create boundaries for yourself, how to have enough worthiness to say yes when it's a yes, no when it's a no, and maybe when it's a maybe. When you start to become even more and more empowered, you stop leaking energy, trying to judge yourself, control yourself, or even like harass yourself internally to be the person that you think you should be. And you start focusing more on loving yourself, truly accepting yourself, truly integrating the parts inside of you so that there can be harmony internally. When you do that, you start to get these kind of pockets of energetic aliveness, and you stop feeling depleted and tired throughout your day. You start to feel more and more energized. When you keep working on inner empowerment, you start to come into a much deeper confidence. I've seen over and over and over again that women who do empowerment tools start to fall in love with themselves, start to fall in love with your body, start to fall in love with your whole being. Stop waiting to love yourself before you're some image of perfection and start to fall in love with the beautiful creation that you actually are. When you keep doing empowerment practices, then what starts to happen is your vision becomes very clear and you no longer do things like upper limit or self-sabotage, because when you feel more and more power, you start to feel inherently worthy and deserving of your desires that are becoming clearer and clearer. So it becomes much easier to have a vision of what's possible for yourself in alignment with your desires. And when you keep doing empowerment work, you actually clear out fear of things like failure or fear of things like being too much or being seen. And when you continue doing empowerment practices, eventually you start to sit inside of your own body, spine straight, body flowing with this kind of effusive confidence that you are here to engage with this magical reality from a state of play, a state of joy, and a state of just being here to enjoy the ride. Now, I'm going to continue showing you in this video the exact tools and practices that can give you this experience of coming more and more home inside of your power. Now, what does it look and feel like to return and restore this kind of sexual power and what I like to call being a sex goddess? So on the first stages of restoring sexual vitality and sexual awakening, what happens is usually I find it's time to take stock, to actually figure out what's been going on inside of your body, getting honest and real with how your body's actually feeling inside. This is super key because if you just try and shove yourself into being a sex goddess, you're gonna override what's going on with your body. So I like to teach sexual awakening as partnering with your body and your energy system in a collaborative way that wakes up your sexual magnificence. After you've taken stock of what's in there, the next phase is to learn to accept it. So this is something that women have often not been taught sexually because we have usually been conditioned to be performers, to show up and perform in the bedroom rather than to show up authentically in what is there. So there's this next stage where you start to allow what you're feeling, to honor it, to accept it. If you need to cry, cry. If you feel numb, feel numb. If you're afraid, feel afraid. If there's unintegrated trauma in there, then there's unintegrated trauma in there. So what you want to do is allow and stop pushing your body. So there's a systematic set of tools and practices to give you this allowance, this acceptance inside of your body. Can you feel that like an exhale? Like, oh, yes, 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 yes. So sexual awakening is getting into a baseline of acceptance of your body where you're no longer pushing yourself or having these sky-high expectations of sexual pleasure or perfection. From there, the next stage of awakening is to learn holistic sexual tools that start to work to open your body in deeper ways, but in ways that actually support your sexual unfolding and awakening. We'll talk more about these holistic sex tools later, but they include things like breathing, sounding, movement, working with energy, and mindfulness inside of your body. Once this happens, the next stage of sexual awakening is to go through what I like to call the pleasure and purification cycle, where you systematically heal and integrate what needs to be healed and integrated and give space and time for that. And also where you start to embrace your body's natural capacity for pleasure, for ecstasy, for surrender, for bliss, and to celebrate it. So I can't tell you how many times pleasure wants to happen and we're going, no, 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 no. And ecstasy wants to happen, we're going, stop, 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 stop. So this is a process where you systematically start to celebrate and encourage these qualities inside of your body. The next stage of sexual awakening, you start to feel what your sexuality actually is. That it's not just friction-based intercourse, it's actually your full aliveness. Your sexuality is the full power of life coursing through your body. What happens as you keep going on this path of sexual awakening is your sexuality becomes an access point to mystical states of awareness, to multi-orgasmic bliss states, to the kind of ecstasy that makes you want to drop on your knees in awe and gratitude. And this again is accessible to every single woman. Mystical state, sacred sexuality, it's not just for a special chosen few, it's something that every single one of us can do. And I will tell you this, I do not want you to finish this lifetime without experiencing the sexual magic that is within you. And the more you progress on that path, the more you start to feel like, damn, I am a sex goddess. I am a high priestess of sexual magic. Aren't we all? And sexuality becomes a form of expression of life. It's this like love affair with life inside of your own body. And you start to realize that your pleasure was never for anybody else. It was always for you. And it's actually not scary. And you don't turn into a sex maniac and you don't like lose your mind. What happens is you start to glow and sparkle from the inside out because that is the magic of pussy radiating inside of you. And what does it look like to progress and grow in aliveness? Well, at first I find it's really finding out where your body and your system doesn't feel safe. Safety is one of the biggest keys of restoring aliveness. But many of us have never asked ourselves before, do I feel safe? And what makes me feel safe? And am I safe in my own system? Am I safe in how I treat myself inside? Am I safe mentally, spiritually, emotionally in what I think and feel internally? Am I safe in my relationships? Am I safe in my community? Am I safe in my job? And how do I generate experiences of safety so that I can actually relax inside? When you've really honored your body and your system in this way, that relaxation starts to unlock these subtle states of energetic aliveness. From there, there's a restoration and an honoring of all emotions, and I mean all of them. That means I honor my anger, I honor my sadness, I honor my bliss, I honor my truth, I honor my nothingness. When you restore emotional integrity, and that means I'm gonna honor what's coming up for me every single moment, your body, your whole nervous system starts to come back alive. And one of the things I've seen over and over again is you don't get to choose. You either feel the grief and the sadness and the anger deeply and fully, or you shut them down. And if you shut them down, you also shut down the joy and the pleasure and the magic and the bliss. If you want to feel those things, you gotta feel everything. But the next stage in the aliveness is learning to have an empowered relationship to your emotional reality. And that means neither just blowing up everywhere, not taking self-responsibility, and having dramatic, overwhelming emotional experiences, nor repressing and shutting down what you're feeling or denying what you're feeling, but instead having a conscientious, centered relationship to your emotions and what I think every woman deserves, which is a safe space to feel what you feel without harming anyone else. I think that is a sacred right and that every woman needs it. So that is built into the system of tools as well to give yourself that. As you keep progressing on this path of aliveness and you start to feel vibrant emotions, you feel safe inside of your body, inside of your reality, you start to realize that there's nothing inside of you that you need to be afraid of. Because if you have a system of tools that allow you to meet yourself and know yourself and accept yourself, then what is there to be afraid of? And over time, you start to get deeper and deeper with who and what you are beyond the box you were given. And you start to restore these really magnificent parts of your personality. You start to feel deeply and profoundly creative. And as you keep going on this path of aliveness, you start to experience true surrender. Surrender is a state that is birthed when you restore aliveness. And so when you get more and more and more alive, the biggest, deepest benefit that I've seen is finally you get to go, I just get to dance with life again. I get to feel super alive moment to moment. And as a woman, when you are super alive, you initiate aliveness in others. You initiate aliveness in your children if you have them, in your partner if you have them, in your friends and family, in your clients, in your audience. Wherever you go, you initiate this kind of magical aliveness because you yourself have embodied it. I have designed this amazing program that I'm so excited to share with you that does many things that will allow you to achieve this heightened sexual freedom, this full confident empowerment, and this full aliveness inside of your body. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna start with an introductory module that's gonna train you in my 4 most potent aliveness tools. It's gonna walk you step by step through each tool and give you a practice that you can do both guided live by me and also in the privacy of your own home at your leisure. So what are these 4 aliveness tools? The first is you're gonna learn all about breathwork. Breathwork is one of the most potent tools available to melt out of that habituated state of reality, 2-dimensional reality. It melts cortical control, judgment from your brain, and allows you to access these deeper places within your mind and body. So if you wanna do very profound healing, you need access to where the wounding is. You need access to the parts of you that are asking for integration. They're studying it right now at Stanford University as as one of the best tools for healing trauma and for making people more alert, more present, and more alive inside of their lives. The next aliveness tool you're going to learn is healing and integration tools. So you're going to learn all about what it takes to heal in your body and in your nervous system, how to actually support yourself and understand how to create and experience safety inside of your reality, how to get deep access to those places that you actually want to be able to open up to in order to heal, and then how to actually embody and integrate wounding patterns through your system, through using the breath work, through using sounding, through using your compassionate, present, loving awareness, and how to do all of this in a way that is actually healthy for your system, where you're not throwing yourself off of edges, but you're conscientiously leaning into your edges. Also, I'm super passionate about the fact that we don't have enough conversations about the healing and integration tools that are required for women to restore their full aliveness, power, and sexuality. So we're gonna have conversations like, what kind of processes and rituals do you need to do to integrate a miscarriage or an abortion? How do you heal from divorce or heartbreak? How do you process some of the deeply embedded patterns that will create numbness and distance between you and a long-term partner? How do you integrate and address mom guilt and shame? And how do you heal and relate to so much of this conditioning that's holding you back in your life in an empowered and systematic way? The third tool that you're gonna learn are the pleasure practices. So this is using your own capacity for self-pleasure to both heal and integrate, to say yes to pleasure inside of your nervous system, and to put you into high energy states where deeper transformation is possible. So in the pleasure practices, you both heal conditioning, fear, shame around your sexuality, and use the space to claim your greatest ecstasy, your greatest bliss, your greatest elevation in life. And I'm gonna guide you through that step by step, how to access those pieces over time. The fourth tool is called Elevate. Now, what this does is it encourages you to consciously choose high vibration states, to celebrate your life, to choose gratitude, to play, to laugh, to radiate, to have joy. Now, this tool comes last because a lot of programs try and force elevate too soon. So if you try and use the elevation tools, but you haven't done the deeper healing and integration, what you do is you create a mask, right? Or you just say an affirmation to yourself over and over again. Or you put on a happy face, but you don't feel it deep down inside. So elevate only works when you've systematically done the deeper tools first to embody and integrate underlying neural networks and wounding patterns that have been subtly draining your energy, that allows you to get deeper inside of yourself. And it also releases free energy and even space inside of your nervous system for you to be able to reprogram yourself into these beautiful ways of life. Now, a lot of us subtly hold ourselves back because joy takes up space. A woman who's grateful takes up space. A woman who is living in her pleasure takes up space. And so many of us have these glass ceilings that we've put on ourselves, that we fear we won't belong if we go into elevation, that we fear will be rejected. We fear something scary will happen. So collectively, as a community, we all help ourselves to re-imprint this ability to be big, to be elevated, and to choose the goodness of life, and to not forget that the journey isn't to just keep healing and healing and healing because it wants to do that. The journey is to elevate, right, eventually, and to make that space so you can sincerely get rid of what no longer serves you and replace it with what you consciously choose on your path. So in that first module, I'm gonna guide you through each tool live, and it'll be recorded so you can also watch it at your own time. You're going to go in depth with it so you understand why it works, how it impacts you, how to use it in your life. I'm going to guide you live through a 20-minute practice of each tool, and you are going to focus specifically on the theme of love in the first module. So you're going to use breath work to access more love in your life. You're going to use healing and integration to feel more love in your life. Self-love, love in your relationships, love everywhere. You're going to use pleasure practices to access more love inside of your body, more love inside of your sexuality and your relationships. And you're going to use elevate to keep raising the vibration inside of your nervous system and in your body to love, 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 love. So that's the introductory module, and that sets you up with the tools. It's like having an almost month-long personal workshop with me, which is pretty amazing. After that, once you've got those tools under your belt, you know how to use them, you've got your questions answered, we're then going to have a monthly theme. And what's so cool then is we're going to take these 4 practices, the breath work, the healing and integration, the pleasure practices, and the elevate, we're going to fold them into an approach, a methodology that you use to apply and transform that theme of the month. Now, as I've worked with so many different clients and students, one of the things I've noticed is that you want different vibrations at different times. So you're gonna get these 4 aliveness tools through 3 different styles of practices. You're gonna have the yang practice, which is gonna use any combination of the tools, and it's gonna be empowering, it's gonna be bold, it's gonna allow you to seize the day. It's going to have you say yes, yes, yes to your life and to this new reality. You're also gonna have yin practices, which are gonna be softer, they're gonna be healing, they're gonna be more restorative, right? So you're gonna use a yang practice when you wanna bust through and claim new realities, and you're gonna use a yin practice when you wanna get slow, restorative, when you've got work to do, when you wanna heal. And finally, you're gonna have pleasure practices where you're gonna get guided through things like sex magic and using the jade egg and really embracing deep and luscious sensual pleasure, really enlivening and awakening yourself into that sex goddess nature. So you're going to have the 4 practices given to you in 3 different vibrations, and you're going to apply them to the monthly theme. If that feels in any way confusing, don't worry, it'll make so much sense as you actually go through it through the program. Now, in those months, you're gonna get a video from me that's gonna tell you all about the theme, how to think about the theme, how to work through the theme in your life. Then you're gonna get the 3 audio downloads. You're gonna get a yang practice, a yin practice, and a pleasure practice guided by me that you can use throughout the month to apply to the theme to get maximum transformation in your life. You're also going to get a live guided practice from me every single month that will include the yang, yin, and pleasure practice styles that you can attend live or just watch the replay and follow along. And I think personally, I think that would be enough. But what I wanted to do is take it to the next level of support, the next level of community, the next level of engagement, and give you at least 3 live practices every single week taught by my rockstar teaching team. That means if you prefer live practices, if you prefer doing practice in community, now you get to still have privacy in those practices, but you'll be guided by the teacher, and everyone else will also be tuning in, following the teacher at that time. And you're gonna have a yang practice, a yin practice, and a pleasure practice every single week. So what that means is that on top of this amazing material that you're gonna get that you can access at any time, you can also, similar to soul cycle classes or yoga classes, show up and get live guidance and do the practice live and in community in the privacy of your own home. So think of this like the most exquisite space holding that is a stand and a support for your full magnificence as a woman. That's why I called it Vita Woman. Now, every month has a different theme. You can check that out specifically down below, which month, which theme, but we're gonna have themes like orgasm, we're gonna have themes like money, we'll have themes like power, we'll have themes like goddess, we'll have themes like relationship. So every single month, you're gonna look at this aspect of your life, and you're gonna get support from me, the teaching team, and the practices to actually fully transform and up-level that theme every single month. That means if you want to step into, let's say, November and focus on the theme of money, you're gonna be given a whole suite of practices throughout the month that are going to help you transform, up-level, elevate, and heal your relationship to money. The month of orgasm, you're going to be given all those practices and support to completely transform your relationship to orgasm, to enhance and elevate your orgasmic experience, to grow into your full orgasmic nature. And so we've picked a theme every single month that really will cover pretty much every dimension of womanhood and happiness inside of your life that I could personally think of. So if you're feeling like you are a yes to this experience, you want to join the Vita woman membership, there's a limited time offer where you get to join the Founders Club. And in the Founders Club, you get the lowest price I will ever offer, $149 for the first module and then every month afterwards. So for $149, you get that first module where I am going to guide you through each of the 4 tools. About every single week, you'll learn a new tool. You'll get this full deep dive and complete education in how to use and understand the tools while applying them to be able to get more love in your life. And then after that, each month for only $149, you're going to get access to all the live classes, to my full audio guides and downloads, my live class every single month, and be able to apply it to the theme. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and join the membership down below. So if you're curious, Layla, where is the proof? I would love to share some of the results with you. So after every single one of my online programs, we always offer our students the ability to give feedback. So for instance, in our Jade Pleasure program, we asked several hundred women if doing these practices gave them a better orgasm.
I really noticed so much more sensation in my body and my vagina, and Layla's tips and teachings really helped me to open up and experience so much more pleasure in my body during sex and way better orgasms. Really awesome orgasms. That was a really good bonus.
I didn't really receive love, and I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't really know how I could just really release that fear from my body and allow myself to actually surrender to pleasure and receive love from anyone until I started to do the practices. Then I started to do the practices. That's when I started to feel that my, the pain and the belief that was stored in my nervous system needed to be released through the breathwork that you were doing right now was what I used to release all the pain that was stored in my own nervous system. And of course, there were a lot of practices in the first module that we did that we used to rewire our brain around our pleasure. We had the hammering processes that we had to do. And through that, I was able to figure out what truly means to be in my own pleasure, celebrate that, own that. And then I invited my own pleasure, my own definition of what it truly means to be in pleasure into my own relationship. Instead of me having my husband tell me what was pleasure, how does pleasure feel like in my body, I was able to come confidently as an empowered woman, as an empowered lover, and telling what I truly desired and how I love to be pleasured and what I love to receive.
I wasn't really enjoying my sexuality, and I didn't really feel pleasure or couldn't orgasm. It changed my life. It truly did. It gave me tools to help me reconnect with what I thought was lost, but I realized that it was I just didn't know what it was or how to connect with it. I discovered pleasure. I discovered many things, and I will be forever grateful to this course.
After every program, we've carefully tracked and monitored that everyone is getting the results that they're expecting through the program. Now, obviously, you have to apply yourself and do the work. But we've seen over and over and over again that women who do these practices experience extraordinary results. So in my Vita coaching certification, the 1-year coaching certification that contains much of this methodology, women have reported experiencing their greatest power.
In that course, I really did bring sexy back for myself mainly, that I could feel that I am this great sensual, sexual female again. And there is so much I have to offer.
Within the first week, I felt more confident than I had in 13 years.
In doing this work, I found myself feeling so alive in a way that I've been longing to feel for a really long time. Through going through my own journey with transformation and healing and integration in my own body, I feel like I can hold such a loving, supportive, wise, playful, creative, and alive space for other women and their journey. And I feel that I have an endless support of resources from this work, from all of what we've been studying and learning, embodying, practicing, and all of the support of other women going through this experience at the same time, that I feel super held and super capable.
They've been on the verge of divorce and restored their marriage to health, harmony, and deep sexual connection.
As the weeks went on, I began to resensitize areas of my body that were completely numb. I had not been able to feel my husband in penetration, and by the end of the course, I was feeling him inside of me and was experiencing more pleasure.
Women who have been married for 30 plus years have rekindled feeling deeply and profoundly in love with their significant other.
My long-term partner, my husband of 25 years, and I have been able to deepen our sexual relationship and our personal relationship through me doing this course. And I can't even begin to put into words how phenomenal that's been.
It was just so transformative, you know. I think a part of me was looking for, you know, more intimacy with my husband, and what I realized through the course was that really I was projecting that on him, and it's changed not just my relationship to my sexuality, but just my relationship to my body, and that's rippled into my marriage.
And they often report an end to loneliness of feeling so disconnected. They report a restoration of their own magic, their own aliveness, and their own power inside of their lives. And we get these reports over and over and over again. These are not isolated incidences or one-time events. These are regular reported effects from doing consistent Vita Woman practices. So if you've been listening to all of this, but you've got some concerns or some fears, I'd love to talk to you about those now. You might be saying, this all sounds great, but I'm so afraid. I feel so nervous. I feel kind of heavy talking about all of this. Basically, I'm just scared. And I want you to know that you're not alone. It's so natural to feel afraid to embark on this journey, to take this risk, to do these practices. And it's even more normal with all of these practices because we've often been taught to fear being sexually awakened, being free, being powerful, and being alive. So the fear is totally normal. You'll be held and supported in that fear. And just think that everything fabulous you've ever done in your life would have had some degree of fear associated with it, like falling in love or having a baby or launching a career or dream project or going traveling somewhere really distant, right? The things that are the most rewarding in life are often scary, and that's very true with this program and these practices. And you might be worried that you'll get resistant or check out or just not do the process in general. And I want you to know that we really support you around resistance in the program. So resistance is a form of fear that the results that you will get will be unsafe in some way, shape, or form. So to move through resistance requires 3 different things. One is to systematically help yourself feel safe with the results. So we'll be doing that throughout the membership, helping you to actually feel safe to be fully sexy, safe to be seen and powerful, safe to be alive. And that helps take down the resistance. Also, one big part of resistance is support and community, right? Lots of things that are good for us come with resistance. Going to yoga class, going to the gym, having that important conversation with your partner, things like that. There's a lot of resistance around that. And the more support you have, the more community you have, the easier it is to move through resistance. So throughout the membership, we'll be connected to you. You'll have this vibrant community. You'll have these delicious classes on offer, and we'll really be there to support you to move through the resistance. And the final piece is to just do one small bit, right? If you think about maybe going to every single class in the membership, doing every single piece, that might feel overwhelming to your nervous system. So one of the things I want to share with you is it can be very helpful to say, I'll just do 5 minutes. I'll just pop on and do 5 minutes of that audio or 5 minutes of that class. And what's amazing about these practices is even just that 5 minutes once or twice a month can literally change your life. Now, of course, I recommend doing more than that. Of course, I want you to do more than that. Of course, you're gonna get more results if you do more than that, but it's amazing how profoundly your life can change just by having the awareness and even the smallest commitment to engaging with these tools. And we'll be there to support you and encourage you to keep doing more and more and more as time goes on. So something else that you might be worried about is I won't belong. A community full of women. Oh my God, what if they reject me? What if they're all bitches? What if I hate them? What if they hate me, right? So many of us carry this sisterhood wound of groups of women rejecting us or being, something that we don't like, being a cycle of negativity, things like that. And I want you to know that this space is different. So we both cultivate a community culture of communication, of self-responsibility, and of making every single one of us belong in our magnificence and our struggles. We also work it into the curriculum, into the training, how to make ourselves belong, how to feel like we belong, so we don't spend our lives isolated or feeling like we're left out in some way, shape, or form. Also, if you belong to a group that has been discriminated against or made systematically unsafe in the past in society based on your sexual orientation, based on your race, based on your gender expression, I want you to know how welcome you are here and that your safety and belonging in the community is a high value of mine, of our entire team, and also something that we will build into the community. So I acknowledge that that safety has often not been there. I am not perfect as a space holder, but I have done a lot of work and a lot of training to understand what it is to hold intersectionally safe spaces. And also, I'm open and willing to have conversations of how to increase safety, how to address safety concerns. And also, if you're a member of the community and you do anything that makes anyone feel unsafe, this is a team and a community that is interested in restoration and really being able to be self-responsible and look at ourselves and our impact, but also to do so through love, through relationship, through compassion, and through really bringing each other closer and exploring what it is to create a safe community in a world that has not been safe for so many of us for so long. Another fear you might have is, what if I fail? Oh my gosh, what if Layla does all this stuff and offers all this content and all these other women are getting all these amazing results and I just, what then, right? I know this fear because that's my jam. I'm so afraid of that. I'm always like, what if I fail? Like, failure is one of my big, I don't even want to be there kind of feelings. And what I want you to know is A, you'll be held in that fear because so many of us have that fear. B, even if you don't get what you're expecting to get, you'll be held in that, you'll be celebrated in that, you won't be judged or pushed or criticized. And C, this is an ongoing process, so it's impossible to fail because given a long enough timeline, your essential truth is that power, that sexuality, that aliveness. And the 10,000 people that I have worked with as paying clients, I have never seen anyone who is willing to put in the time, the effort, the dedication, and the intention. I have actually never seen them fail, right? You might not get it after the first month. It might take a few months if you've got lots of repression, if you really haven't done this work for a while, but I have seen every woman who has ever wanted it absolutely get there. I can't 100% guarantee results across the board, but I can guarantee that if you apply yourself, you will not walk away feeling like a failure. You might have a fear of being frozen, right? Some combination of being numb, unable to feel, maybe broken inside, or that you've experienced something that's made you unable to function, and so you'll be left behind in the community. And I want you to know that I have such deep compassion for that because I myself felt like that for so long. And I was in spaces where people didn't understand my trauma, my shutdown, my slowness, my inability to function in a way that they thought I should. And so I want you to know that this is a trauma-informed space. So we can't heal deep and complex traumas for you that requires the additional space and support holding of a psychotherapist, a trauma expert, or coach. But what we can do is really help you feel held, supported, and celebrated no matter where you're at in your life. You might have a concern. I don't have enough time. This feels like a lot of work. So the way that I designed this program is if you do the most minimum part of the program, that you can do the 3 practices every month, a yang practice, a yin practice, and a pleasure practice, that will take you an hour to an hour and a half per month. That's the minimum amount that you need to do to get results. Now, sure, if you can do way more than that, that's awesome, right? You can do an hour a day if you want, but if all you have is 1 hour a month, really think, if you spend even an hour a month for 12 months focusing on self-love, on pleasure, on your orgasmic capacity, on your relationship, on your feelings about yourself, on your body, on your spiritual power, on your personal power, on your sexuality, where will you be at the end of this year, right? Really tune in, even if you give just that little amount of time, how big the results can actually be at the end of the year. And finally, the most common fear usually, what if it's not worth the investment, right? This is an investment. It's meant to be an investment. I really thought about it. I was like, do I want you to pay less and I'll give you like the bare minimum? No, I want this to be an epically transformative experience that you commit to and that everyone else in this program is committed to as well. You're here to get results, right? You're not here to check out. You're not here to just like not pay attention to like the bill that's happening on your credit card statement. You're here to show up for yourself. You are here to transform your life. That is worth the investment. I want you to think about anything else that you could spend $149 a month on and really tune in what could possibly be more worth it to you than getting these kinds of results and really being in this program, showing up for yourself, right? If you have in any way, shape, or form that kind of money as discretionary income, really checking in and feeling, can I make that worth it in my life? Does that investment make sense to me? So if you're feeling it and you want to join Vita Woman, then you can go ahead and join down below. Again, if you join right now, you get that Founders Club offer at $149. This membership will never be at that price. Again, we're definitely going to increase the price next time that we open it for the next cohort. So if you want to jump in and try it out at the lowest possible price, then go ahead and join now. Hopefully throughout this video, you've been able to see that there is a set of tools, a methodology, and a structure of support that can help you to both heal and integrate 5,000 years of repression, pain and trauma and wounding from this lifetime around all areas of your life, and that there is a way to get the healing that you desire and restore the goodness to your nervous system, the goodness to your body through somatic practices and through very, very deep tools like breath work, like integration and healing, like pleasure practices, and like elevation. And that if you systematically have the support to apply that to all areas of your life, you can truly taste who you came to this planet to be. You can fully embody the magnificence of your power, your sexuality, and your aliveness. You can find yourself dressing the way that you've always desired to dress, playing in the world the way that you've always wanted to play, making bold, unapologetic decisions about who you are, what your dreams are, what you want for yourself. You can find yourself taking action in alignment with your truest, deepest, sincerest desires, and you can have the most amazing time doing it, filled with pleasure, filled with outrageous laughter, filled with this divine sense of celebration. And you don't have to do it alone. You can do it with me, you can do it in community, you can do it with a profound level of support. So if this is something that you want, don't wait, don't put it off. Really check in. If there is a yes, if you feel called, if this is for you, then go ahead and join Vita Woman membership. I will be so excited to play with you, to grow with you, to have these magnificent experiences with you, and more than anything else, to be a stand for you as the woman that you desire to be.